Welcome to Season 13. The simulation is about to get underway. And this is the lineup that I see us beginning the Season 13 simulation with. This is the overall rating of the team. These are the lines, at least on opening night. There will be injuries, and my hand will be forced, and I will have to make adjustments and changes. I'm going to start out Pacioretty with a now 91, not a 93, but a 91 overall Sidney Crosby, who is officially 38 years old in the game. We signed him to a new 2-year deal in the offseason, $8.7 million, the exact same dollar value that he was making before. We've got an aging Pacioretty. I'll show all these guys in the contract screen in a second. But Pacioretty, Crosby, Nino, that's going to be the first line. Reinbrecht, Duchesne, Kujawenski. I am a little depleted for that depth, at least as far as the top six is concerned. I don't have the stacked up top six that I used to have, at least when you see the overall rating. Torrey Reinbrecht in his age 28 season, with the shooting category and the fact that he's an 81 overall, he was going to play on my third line. I think that's where the game had him by default. I've moved him to the second line because of the shooting category. We're going to see. Well, what did he do last year? Let's just take a look at the statistics. You can see he's a 5-star shooter, 8 goals, 17 points while playing in the bottom 6. Probably, I think, even on the fourth line. So, I mean, there's production there. There's definitely more production to be had for him. You're going to be giving him way more ice time with the 5-star shooting category. The goals have just got to go in. He's playing with Duchesne, who's an 87 overall player at 34 years of age. I think that's a bump up. I'm pretty sure that Duchesne, did he not have a bump in growth? This is his last year on the contract. Duchesne, you are 34, going to turn 35. I hope that he does consider retirement in the offseason, because then my hand is going to be forced to try to pay the guy for another contract. He deserves to go out as a Canadian, and I'm going to do my best to help make sure that happens. Kujawenski also helps play out that second line. Franzen, Ming, Biggs. I got Franzen in free agency, and the pure reason why is the skating category. He's a fast, shifty little skater on the ice. I have no read on the kid. He's a first-round pick in 2019 at 6th overall by the Flames. It hasn't really panned out much for him at the NHL level, but I also just guess that he's not getting top-line minutes. Sukai Ming, the Ming Dynasty, 29 years old now. He is going to be playing the third-line center position, so a little bit of a demotion for him this year, but it's just because, it's really because of Sidney Crosby and the kind of depth that this team has with Sid. It does move some of the center position players down in the lineup. We got Tyler Biggs. I don't even remember signing him, but again, this must have been one of those signings that I made. I remember he played for the Maple Leafs. He is a former draft pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I guess it's probably the skating category that drew me here. He's also a physical player. I really don't remember signing Biggs. I don't. I have no memory of that happening. Charles Bertrand, we're familiar with him for the last few seasons. This might be the last year of that deal. It is. It's the last year, fourth liner. He's making cheap money. I mean, the potential has fallen off very quickly for the French sniper. But let me pull him back up, because I do want to show the stats. He's kind of underrated. I mean, he does do things offensively. 22 goals in 77 games. And he's playing in the bottom 6, by the way. He's a bottom 6 player, scoring those goals. What did he do in the playoffs? He didn't do anything. Yeah, well, my point immediately vanishes. He didn't do anything in the playoffs. He had 3 points on 3 assists. But again, he is a utility guy playing on the bottom 6. He's out there to eat minutes, and that's exactly what he's going to do on the fourth line. Lucas Vovoda has not reached, and maybe will not reach, that promotion in his career beyond playing fourth line minutes. But as a fourth liner, look at the things he does as a fourth line grinder. 79 overall, 28 years old. I signed him to a huge deal at 1.6. There's no way as a player in the real world that you would ever sign an 8-year contract, 7-year, whatever it was, at 1.6 AAV. You would believe that you can grow and get paid in the future, but he just gave us the 2 goals in 24 games on that run to the Stanley Cup Final, where we ultimately fell to the Colorado Avalanche. My D pairs are pretty much bringing back the same group of guys outside of Sigalette. Sigalet is a free agent acquisition. So Hedman, who is 34 years old now as well, 2 years left on the deal. I mean, this roster is aging very rapidly. It's season 13, and I've had a lot of these core guys be around for season after season after season. I mean, you could go back as far as season 5, season 4. Some of these guys have been around since then. Duchesne's been around since season 1 with his Canadiens team. So 4 years left on Damon Severson's contract. He's 31 years old. And I was lucky to get him in the prime of his career. Now he's on the back. He's starting to head toward the back nine. But he does throw in some offense. 35 points in 69 games. 25 points in 74. Not bad for a two-way defenseman. And I relied on him in the playoffs. He did score some important goals. The 4 goals, 14 points. He was there in the playoffs. He showed up for us. He's going to be an important part of this team going forward if we're going to get back to the playoffs. Chris Begris. Now, this is the player that I want to talk about because I've been thoroughly impressed with him when I jump into gameplay. He finds ways to score goals. He has 3 years left on his deal. This was his regular season. He didn't do much of anything in the regular season the past 3 years. Forget about those 7 games played. That's preseason, so it doesn't apply. Did I apply that to Chris Bertrand? Did I apply that to, or was it the playoffs? I don't know. In 16 games, or in 24 games, he had 16 points and 7 goals in 24 games. Chris Begris. And forgive me if I'm ever off my game. It's too early in the day for me to be recording this, but I got to get it recorded anyway, so I free up some time to edit and get a little bit ahead of schedule because I'm starting to get behind schedule again on recording videos. I've had a nice break and a nice layoff. Larry Ronning, 24 years old. I always bring it up that he's the guy that we got for PK Subban. So this is Larry Ronning's stat page for you. 24 games, 3 goals, 12 points. And a penalty-taking machine. Perhaps at the worst possible time of a game in the playoffs with our team. Sigalet is the free agent addition. Cam Sigalet, Canadian-born defenseman. 17th overall pick by Philadelphia in 2017. 81 overall. I mean, he's got a great shooting category. He could come in handy on the power play. He's going to be paired with Ben Messier, who we were familiar with, and at times was very impressed with Ben Messier on our playoff run, especially as a skater. He had 13 points, all of them assists in the playoffs. So that is I'll show the power play real quick. So there's the power play as the season begins. This is subject to change with injuries being a certain surefire thing. We're gonna have injuries. The game always finds a way to screw me over during the season sim with injuries. I'm going through this real quickly, but Zach Fucale, we re-upped him in the offseason. He's age 30 now, $6 million AAV. That's $2 million even, an exact $2 million less than he was making on his previous contract. 3 years is the deal, and he played 78 games last year. So 78 games. Put those kind of numbers together, went on a Stanley Cup final run, and took a contract reduction in terms of pay. He took a pay cut to stay with the Canadiens. This guy wants to be here. He had a .903 in the playoffs, and he played 24 games, .903. What was the GAA? It was 3. It was high. It was a ridiculous GAA. And the salary cap for the upcoming season, almost not far from being $90 million. As the cap limit, we open up at home against the Buffalo Sabres. Season 13 is about to be underway. You know how I like to do these things. We're going to jump into this screen super quick, sort it by just goals, and sim speed times 6. And hopefully we see plenty of Canadiens goals rattle off the board. But it will be Ennis on the power play to open season 13 against the Canadiens. On our home ice, there was no banner raising because, of course, we didn't win the Stanley Cup. Bob Cobb gives up a goal to Duchesne, and then right after that, Pacioretty answers. Power play now for the Habs. 3-1. It is Pacioretty with back-to-back goals in this game, and Matt Duchesne piles on. So those two, my first line is cruising out there. They really are. They're cruising out on the highway with the shades on, baby. It's a sunny, beautiful day. I don't know what that means. Pacioretty hat trick with a power play goal. Makarov is in the net now as well. No Russian. He can't save you now. As Buffalo is going to drop. And there's another one to tack on. Nino Niederreiter with 19 seconds left. to just add salt to the wound. Well, how's that for an opening night? As we didn't win the Stanley Cup, so there was no banner raising. For us, there was a banner raising for the Colorado Avalanche. And the offensive explosion. Here's the score sheet for you if you want to pause and see the score sheet. Sidney Crosby is aging like a fine wine. So is Max Pacioretty. A hat trick in the first game of the season. You know that Pacioretty was feeling it. He's ready to avenge the loss to the Avalanche. The penalty summary from this game. There were 2 penalties by Ming, both of them hooking minors. And we didn't see... oh yeah, by the way, Eric Johnson signed in Buffalo. So we see Eric Johnson for the first time since the Stanley Cup final. And he takes a penalty in this game. The home stats... just going to show this really super quick. Pause the screen if you want to see any of the home stats in detail. I'm surprised we didn't get a penalty out of Larry Ronning. I am curious about Eric Johnson. He played 26 minutes and was a -1 for the Sabres in his debut as a Buffalo Sabre. There's your 3 stars. So Bertrand was injured. Another free agent guy, Stanley Byers, great skater. He's going to play on my 4th line. At least it was Bertrand that was injured with injured ribs. So Byers goes to my left wing position on the 4th line. So obviously we are not going to sim from that screen for all of season 13. It would take way too long to get through the simulation. It's just for opening night, and we have a bit of a road trip. We have some road games coming up. Scouting assignment always throwing me off, and there's almost no point for me doing scouting at this point, being that we're just doing 15 seasons. So we lost that first game of the season to Florida, a 3-2 loss. It was a regulation loss for us as well, and now Hedman is out until October 22nd. So Kujawenski went down with a playable injury. Bertrand is back healthy. Hedman, my top pair D, has injured his hand for a handful of days. Handful of days. Nice. Okay, so no Hedman is obviously, that's huge. We have no Hedman. We're not scoring. Our offense cooled off. It cooled its jets after that first game. Hedman is apparently available to play in the next game. We lost 3-1 to Philadelphia, but I can't risk a long-term injury to Victor Hedman, so I'm going to let him heal up fully. And, seeing the Rangers there, you would think Carey Price, but he retired in the offseason, so Carey Price did finish his career. And we are taking a huge tumble. We scored 1 goal. 1 goal in a 3-1 loss. 1 goal in a 2-1 loss. We are not scoring anymore after the way we opened up against the Buffalo Sabres. You would have thought that this Canadiens team could be a freaking juggernaut. But we have not. We have not lived up to expectation after game number 1. So Hedman back healthy. In fact, we got an entirely healthy lineup, and we win 5-3, and then we don't have a healthy lineup anymore. Su-Kai Ming is due to miss about a month. Now this puts me in a hole because I don't have tremendous center depth. No Su-Kai Ming. I don't care about Ryan Murphy right now. Curtis Volk, we got to look at it because nope, there's nothing here that stands out to me about this player. If he had a really good face-off category, like an exceptional face-off category, and a decent D category, I would probably consider it, considering the depth that we need at center. I just need someone that can play my bottom 6 at center in case we get injured, and they can take face-offs, but we are just blowing games. Now, I might have to shift the lineup around. I want to give this lineup a chance, especially after what we did to Buffalo on opening night. There's absolutely no way in hell I'm claiming a 64 overall D unless I just needed it in the AHL, but I'm going to let the assistant coach do best lines in the AHL. We won 2-1, so that's good news. Now, how about Nino Niederreiter? We played 8 games, and he has 7 goals. It's kind of unreal. I don't know what kind of juice he's been drinking, but whatever it is, I hope we have plenty of it in stock, and I hope he just keeps drinking it. And I hope that the offense starts coming through. We just cannot win games. So what is the problem with... is it just that we're old? This team is old and slow. I'm gonna give it one more game. We'll sim one more and see what happens against New Jersey. I mean, if the same trend continues against New Jersey, we don't score goals and we give up goals. I mean, it's not like we're giving up a ton of goals. I mean, that one we did. We lost 5-4. We're just not scoring. I'm gonna have to shift my lineup around now. Okay, this is one of those things I'm going to actually try to keep this one in the video, depending on how this gets edited. But yeah, it's just time to shift things around. It's desperation time. Kudrowski, you're going to play on my first line with Crosby. We'll see if we can up the production there. I moved Niederreiter down, didn't I? Pacioretty's a +4. I mean, it's not the first line. The first line's not the problem. I'll show you Niederreiter's stats. The first line's pretty good. A +6. You don't want to change your first line. Okay, so we don't want to change the first line. It's tough. What about Franzen? It's probably more of a third and fourth line thing and somewhat of a second line thing. -7, that's a problem right there. So Franzen, you're a problem. I'm going to see what Bertrand is. Is he a minus? It may not matter. He's a -1. Now he is playing fourth line ice time. I'm going to move Franzen to the fourth line. We're going to try that. I bet you the third line is probably the problem. -7, and then this guy's a -4 for Stanley Byers, so you're a -4, but what about Biggs? He's been playing here the whole time. Byers got in there as yes, it's the fourth line. So it is the fourth line. I'm going to actually, I don't know who to pin blame on, and it could be defensively as well. I'm going to keep this top 6 the same. Especially just because of the production of Niederreiter, you can't change that. You cannot shift away from that. What about defensively? Hedman, +4. I am looking at ± mostly. My top D pair, not a problem. It's gonna be one of these. I'm gonna probably end up moving Ronning down. What kind of ± does Ronning have? -3, and he hasn't done anything offensively. Messier, yeah, -4. I think, you know, it's not so much a giving up goals, but we need to find ways to score. We just need to find some ways to score. So I'm going to move Ronning to my third deep here and try to help out Sigalet. Sigalet, he's a -3. He has a goal. It doesn't necessarily have to be huge changes. It just needs to be enough changes in the right direction. And sometimes they're just subtle little changes that I need to make to get the ball rolling in the right direction. We're playing Columbus. And we won. We won 3-2. Then, of course, Damon Severson goes down until, well, it's only a couple of days. So, Severson will miss like a game or two. He'll miss like, he'll miss like 2 games or something like that at the most. That's fine. We can, and see, it already says he's available, but he's technically still injured, and I don't want to risk a worse injury for Severson, so we'll sit him out until he's 100% healthy. Please get me a win against Ottawa. We did. We got it 6-3, and we also beat Columbus 3-2 before that, so we are getting the ball rolling in the right direction. I do want to look at the injury report to see if Severson is technically a playable injury. He is not even on the injury report at all. So Severson is good to go. Back-to-back, well, not really truly back-to-back, but you know what I mean. Back-to-back, home and home with Ottawa. We just played him a few nights ago, and this time we lose. Have I been rotating my goaltenders? I didn't think about that. Okay, all right, so auto-rotate goalies was off. And I don't know how much that's really going to affect this simulation. But if we want to get into the playoffs, might want to give Zach Vicali a little bit of a break here and there. We're just 5-7-1. This has been a really slow start to the season for this team. I don't know if we suffered an injury to the Leafs, so I'm just going to take a quick peek at it. It's just right over here, straight down, over to injury report, and it's still just Sukai Ming, so we're good coming out of the game against Toronto because we have a back-to-back set of games here, and it doesn't give me an injury update from this screen coming out of that game against Toronto. Now we're playing Tampa at home. This is a 9-2-2 Tampa team. I did not expect to beat them. We did not. You know, if we're not a team that are in the playoffs come close to the deadline, do you think that this is a Canadiens team that would... Do you think we would try to sell? Do you think it would make sense to try to sell? And try to do like a super quick retool, like an on-the-fly retool. Sell off a part. And that's a big one for us, is Sukai Ming's back. But I'm going to let him sit for the game against Boston because I know he's not fully healthy yet. I want to actually take a look at the injury report and make sure that he's 100% healthy before he gets back in there. He is cleared. Sukai Ming is cleared from any kind of injury. It's not a playable injury. He is 100% healthy. So Byers, I'll take a look at you before we put Ming back in the lineup. And he did his job. I mean, 4 points, 1 goal, 15 games played. All right, so we got Sidney Crosby, Asian man. Sidney Crosby, Asian man, is back in the lineup. Could you imagine there being like a jersey that says Sidney Crosby, Asian man? It's a Canadiens jersey with 87 on it, but that's what it says instead of saying Ming. So we got a point in that loss to San Jose, but Sukai Ming is back in the lineup. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to get an 87 Sukai Ming jersey. I'm going to have to get a Canadiens jersey with 87 on it, and it says Ming. Nobody would know at all what that is a reference to. They wouldn't know that it's a reference to the GM mode. If somebody out there gets a jersey with Sukai Ming's jersey number and name on it, that would be legendary. Somebody wear it to a Habs game. See if anybody knows what you're talking about. Who is Ming? You don't know the Ming dynasty? You don't know Sidney Crosby, Asian man. We got points, by the way. We got points in the loss to San Jose, and we got a point in the loss to Anaheim. So we're kind of, sort of trending in the right direction. This is going to be a slugfest of a season to get through. I can just feel it in my bones already. Niederreiter's had an impressive year. He doesn't stop scoring goals. I'm still on the lookout for the Avalanche for that Stanley Cup final rematch. But first, we got to take on Loic Arnaud. This stacked Coyotes team still, even though they don't have Patrick Kane anymore, and it seems they're struggling, they are 7-9-1 entering the game. That might be the nail in the coffin on the season right there. Sidney Crosby, not the Asian one. Sidney Crosby is done until March 1st, 2026. I just don't know what to do with that. That's like, I don't know what that's like. It's like blowing out your ACL. It's just as painful. So welcome back to the first line, Matt Duchene. Welcome back to the second line center position, Sukai Ming. And I'm just going to go with Byers as the third line center guy. I guess he's going to play third line center for the next couple of months because Crosby's, what is it in the game? It's like December. Do we give Voivoda? Voivoda's been here. I'm going to give him the promotion. I'm going to play Voivoda, third line center. I mean, Crosby's done until March. That's all that I'm going to say. It's a long time for Sidney Crosby to be done for. So Sukai Ming, do you want first line power play time? I'm going to give him the chance to play on my first line power play. My first power play unit. And on D, I don't even know what to do on D. So it's actually American Thanksgiving in the game. That's where we are at the time of the Sidney Crosby injury. So it's a 3-month injury. And after we sim past this game against Buffalo, I'll give you the lowdown on the Crosby injury, the full details. We've got a completely shifted around team, and we win 4-1. The first game without Crosby is a 4-1 win with Matt Duchene on my first line center position at 5-on-5, and so the promotion now for Ming and Duchene that they've been waiting for at the cost of Sidney Crosby. For Crosby, it's post-concussion syndrome. And he's returning, I don't know when the deadline is, but he's returning right around the deadline. Hey guys, look at it this way. Sidney Crosby is our big trade deadline acquisition. I don't even know if I still hold my first round pick for this season. I mean, if we're close, I will trade that thing away. I will flip it, and then just to add insult to injury, because we don't have enough of those big time injuries, one of my big defensemen, Begris, is down with a pulled groin for effectively a month. We continue the sim, no Begris, and in his place is Siloff or Siloff. I'm familiar with the defenseman from the Flames GM mode. He was an integral part of our decor, actually, in that GM mode. Bertrand has also gone down for 2 days with a playable injury, but because it's a fourth liner and not really a critical role player for this team, I'm not going to worry about it. If he further injures himself, it is what it is. You gotta grit your teeth and grind through the rest of the season, because that's exactly what Season 13 is going to be. I still haven't seen the Avalanche, so I don't know when the Cup final rematch is going to be, and I can of course go into the calendar and just look at the schedule that is upcoming for us anytime I want to. I mean, the team, I gotta give it up for this team. We're playing pretty much exactly 500 hockey for the most part, slightly above that. And it's keeping us above water. The team is staying above water, keeping us afloat without a Sidney Crosby for 2 more months. It's a big player to miss. I gotta say, having Ming, having Duchene still capable, I shouldn't have said anything. I just should have shut my freaking mouth right there. Dude, Russell, just take a moment here in editing and take a moment here in this video. Russell Glencross is a 3 White Star potential player. I drafted him in the 2nd round. I drafted this guy by myself, handpicked him. And he grew, yes, he's 29, but he grew to a 76. He didn't have a crazy amount of potential. He wasn't supposed to be too much of anything, but he's an AHL top pair D. I mean, that's not terrible. I know he's probably not going to see NHL ice time. He has played 2 career games. He's played 2 career games for our team, and he has 2 points in those games. But, I mean, this is surprising growth for me. I mean, 76, I didn't think he would get that far. I don't know if that's, that's not me trying to talk bad about the kid. Man, I kind of really deeply wish someone would put a really decent center on waivers. Someone be forced to put a decent center on waivers or go out and make a trade. I kind of laughed at that. Michael Schumacher is injured and not the Formula One world champion. 4-3 win. We got 3 in a row. We just got 3 wins in a row. Su-Kai Ming is my first line center for the next 3 weeks with the injury to Matt Duchene. Like I said, I should have just shut my mouth. I was literally in the middle of saying that with the depth that I have with Ming, with Duchene, and the fact that they haven't fallen off too much, hopefully this guy, nope. His categories suck. He definitely not a guy you want to rely on in a depth situation. But, with how good, Duchene's still pretty good at his age, right? And so I was thinking, we got the depth with Ming, with Duchene. We can kind of sort of deal with the Sidney Crosby loss for a few months. And then Duchene goes and gets injured for several weeks in a row. And here you go. There it is. The much-awaited and anticipated matchup of the season. The Stanley Cup Final rematch as Michael Schumacher returns from injury. We are going to sim this from this screen. Stanley Cup Final rematch in Colorado where the cup was won. I'm just going to do all goals and sim times 6. We immediately have a Nino Niederreiter power play goal like 15 seconds into the game. Su-Kai Ming lights up Brassard. Oh my god! Yes! Oh, we are just lighting these guys up, man. Eric Brassard. He's got PTSD already. He's out of the net. Pekka Schlotty's in the net. It was like 4 goals on... Oh my god. This is an amazing game. And we're not getting scored on either. And now we are. With a power play goal from, I assume, Tyson Ness. I don't want the goals to stop. 5 on 21 is incredible success from a shooting percentage standpoint. Great efficiency from the Canadiens offense tonight. Is that the goal scoring done? Galchenyuk just had to rifle one home against his former team. But we get one right back. Su-Kai Ming. It's a multi-goal night for Ming, playing first-line center. 6-2 victory. We'll give you the score sheet. There's the box score, the scoring summary from this amazing performance on the road. Ming with an assist. Well, you're going to see how many assists, how many points Ming had in this game. But there's just the scoring summary from this one. And the penalty summary as well. Who did what? There were plenty of penalties and power plays out of both sides in this game. The home stats for the Avalanche sorted by points. Galchenyuk getting a point in there because he just had to. And the away stats. Su-Kai Ming leading the way. Well, no, he did not lead the way. Niederreiter had a 3-point game as well. Ming with a 3-point game, 2-goal night. And I don't know, there couldn't have been anyone on our team that was in the negative on plus-minus your 3 stars. Alright, screw it. I have an injury to Ryan Kujawenski. I don't think I have a healthy extra. His name is Leon Draisaitl. That's my help. I called up Leon Draisaitl, NHL debut for Leon Draisaitl, second line. This is how depleted we are. But I mean, there isn't really any other reasoning other than it's just time for Leon at 30 years old to make his debut. I should have edited Draisaitl, by the way, and I totally forgot to do this before I started up the GM mode. But 5 goals, 25 points in 24 games, 19 and 76, 21 goals in 75, 69 points there. I mean, there's AHL level production. Whether that translates to the NHL, we're going to find out. But, with the injury to Kujawenski and the fact that I can just send him down on waivers and he won't get claimed, I mean, I guarantee you he won't get claimed. We're just going to give Draisaitl a chance. Let's just see what he can do. I mean, it's going to be, you can either play at this level or you can't. This has got to be like the most messed up season simulation I've ever done in terms of just the injuries. It's not just the amount. It's the people that I'm missing. Duchesne, Crosby, Kudrowinski, Begris. All pretty important players to this team. All playing big minutes for this team. Yeah, just simulate up those 2 games. It's not really going to matter. Leon Draisaitl against Chicago is making his NHL debut. I should have probably just gone into the sim screen in case he scores a goal or just does something impressive. He's playing top 6 minutes. He's on power play. He's at top 6 minutes at 5-on-5. We lost 3-2. Kudrowinski is back from his supposed injury. We just keep losing ground with those 2 games against Chicago and Carolina. What did Draisaitl do? All right, Leon, you play 2 games. He has at least an assist in 2 career games. He does have an assist. He's a -2. So who just came back? Kudrowinski. Kudrowinski just came back. We win 4-3. Kudrowinski is back. Duchesne is technically healthy. Begris is almost, we got to put Begris in. I know it says 1 day down there at the bottom of the screen, but we got to get Begris back in the lineup. If he re-injures himself, it's kind of worth the risk at this point in the season. So Siloff is done. And now Begris returning from his injury. He is fully inserted into the lineup after some quick changes. Siloff, I don't know what the exact pronunciation of that defenseman, but he is out. He's a healthy scratch now. And thank you for coming in and playing the role of defenseman while Begris was out with his injury. Now Ben Messier goes down, so Siloff will get right back in there. Siloff said, "Hold on, not so fast there. You thought you were sitting me for a while," and he gets right back in the lineup. Sigalette also injured with a frickin' man. I keep losing defensemen to injury. So Ben Messier uncertain timeline, Sigalette uncertain timeline. I think that's going to be Ryan Murphy. So we got Matt Duchesne is back now ahead of this game against Buffalo. So we've got a returning Matt Duchesne. Not worried about Russell Glenncross's injury down there in the AHL. Ben Messier is going to be back fully healthy after this game against Buffalo, but watch us lose a D to injury. We didn't lose a D to injury in that game, so now I can put Ben Messier back, and Sigalette will be returning soon as well from his injury. Man, it's just having to go in and out of the edit line screen constantly with this game just pisses me off so much. It's so annoying that I can't just sim through the season without all this adversity and all this crap that we keep going through. Ben Messier is back, by the way. He's injected into the lineup at D with his full return from injury. He's playing on the power play now, so I gave him some power play time. And there is... Okay, so that's Sigalette returning from his injury. As I foreshadowed, we won a game 5-2, and we lost a game 5-2. We pretty much are staying exactly the same. This team is slightly above water right now. I mean, we are hanging on for dear life in this season. I haven't even taken a look at any of the standings. We are 3rd in the division. This division sucks. Holy crap. To be 19, 16, and 3 and 3rd in the division within 6 points of first place. Yeah, this division sucks. This is the West, so McDavid's Canucks are just cruising in the Western Conference and in their division as well. They have a pretty decent lead ahead of the Anaheim Ducks. It's not anything insane. And basically the rebuilders are the Rangers continue to struggle. The Leafs are struggling, so we will not be seeing the Leafs in the playoffs this year. Unless they just pull off a full-on, unless there's a miracle and they pull a genuine miracle out of their ass cheeks. There's the defending Stanley Cup champion Avalanche are hanging on to a wild card position right now, so they sit in a wild card spot. So that is the update as of December 31st. I'm going to have to stop and pause recording and do this in a second part right here because I need a toilet break and I need another cup of coffee. Okay, back to do part 2 of this season simulation, which will not affect the video. We're just going to sim. We took a look at the standings. We're at December 31st, January 1st on the year, the new year for 2025. Tyler Biggs is down with elbow surgery. That's going to take him well past the deadline. But that's a player that, we can kind of do without. With his injury, we can make do with his injury. Crosby's still a little ways out. His return, remember, is like the first week in March is his projected return. I'm going to have to call someone up, aren't I? I'm going to have to call somebody up to replace that injury. So I guess it's Leon Draisaitl time. So Tyler Biggs down with that injury. Leon Draisaitl gets his second look with the big club, with Bigs. He has elbow surgery, keeping him out until super late March. So if he returns, it will be... I mean, he will return. It'll be just right before the regular season concludes. We are still waiting on Sidney Crosby. I'm still auto-rotating goaltenders after we got shut out by the Detroit Red Wings. You know, Martin Jones has given this team the most wins. I may have to turn off auto-rotate goaltenders for this back half of this season and just ride with Zach Fucale. I mean, there's a win. Jones was in net for that game. 5-2 win for the Canadiens and Martin Jones with his 11th of the year. The game loves Martin Jones right now. I think the game's giving him the starts instead. That might be part of the problem. Instead of going with Fucale, I don't know what the... There's a win and Ryan Murphy, but that is down in the A, so there's back-to-back wins. We just need to get them. And look at who's coming up on the schedule. The Colorado Avalanche, 6 weeks until Sidney Crosby. Will Sim pass this game against Winnipeg? Niederreiter with 17 goals, a little past the halfway mark in the season. There's a 6-2 win over the Winnipeg Jets as we do our Stanley Cup final rematch. I'm going to go back into the... It's not GM Tracker. I did not mean to go into that. It's the GM options. Check on the injury report just to see if there were no further injuries. Pacioretty with an injured shoulder, but it is a playable one for Max. So he's just going to have to play through that as we take on the Avs and don't re-injure it. So we're going to go into this screen again because the last time we played the Avs, we just lit a bomb on fire against Eric Brassard and his Avalanche team. Now we're taking them on in our building, and it's Lars Eller on the power play. A quick goal this time from the Colorado Avalanche to open the goal scoring, unlike the first time around we faced these guys in the regular season. And also, again, I remind you, Pacioretty playing through a playable injury in this game. Urban, the defenseman, scores on Jones. And that's the issue. Martin Jones is the freaking goaltender. I'm going to have to change this. I know that we won a few games coming into this one with Jones as the goalie. But, you got to go to Zach Fucale. 3-0, that's an insurmountable lead for us, I think. I feel that this game is definitely over. We're going to get shut out on home ice. No, we're not. Matt Duchene scores. Can we score 3 quick ones? No, we cannot. 4-1, Dakiv, empty net goal, and the Avs and Canadiens will split the season series in the Stanley Cup final rematch. There's the scoring summary from the one game on the year that will be played in Montreal, at least in the regular season, between the Canadiens and the Avalanche. Do you think there's a chance these two teams could face off against each other again in the Stanley Cup final? This is the final stat line for the home team. I don't know what it is with this game choosing Martin Jones over Zach Fucale. It seems like if I leave the assistant coach to control and rotate the goaltenders, it is choosing Martin Jones to be the number one guy. So yes, we did win 3 in a row with Martin Jones as the goaltender. Was it 3 in a row? Yeah, 3 in a row. Starting Florida, Buffalo, then Winnipeg. We did lose the Stanley Cup final rematch to Colorado. But I'm done playing games with this game. I'm going to go to Zachary Fucale full time. I've turned off auto-rotate goaltenders. It's done. I'm just going to give the net to Zach Fucale because this is the kind of blind faith. It's not even blind faith. I have good reason to believe in Zachary Fucale at this point in time. I'm giving him the net. It's either do or do not. And that's freaking crazy. This game just played this song. Tierney is injured down in Hamilton, but the game just played. I just had this song come up in the music, and it's playing again already. And I love this song though, old school NHL soundtrack. So a loss with Fucale in net, but it was a 2-1 loss. That's just on the offense not getting it done. Against the Minnesota Wild, we take on Connor McDavid's Vancouver Canucks, who are a powerhouse team. Look at that, 28-11-3 powerhouse team in the West and a powerhouse team in their division. 18 goals on the year for Connor McDavid. We got the win, but Damon Severson is down with a playable injury. He has plenty of time to heal from that, though. There is a break between games following the victory over Vancouver before we play the Winnipeg Jets. All right, Zach Fucale, it's your net. I'm pretty sure he got the win because he's the goaltender, and I turned off the rotate goaltenders. I really do have this belief that, let me do this scouting assignment. I have this belief that he can take the net and can carry this team into the playoffs. It's kind of a do or die kind of thing. I mean, we're either going to make it or we're not. You got to ride with your best hand. And I got to play my best hand, which is Zachary Collins in the net. He's going to give us the best chance to make the playoffs. With Tierney returning, we've won 2 games in a row. Now Fucali has the most wins as the goaltender on this team. We are turning the ship around, and I felt something in the force. All-Star break time to see who made it, at least as far as the East is concerned first. So Druin, Sagan, Conacher all representing the Eastern Conference in the All-Star game in Season 13. Christian Thomas, haven't heard of that guy. Steven Stamkos, I have heard of that guy. And Jakub Voracek. Voracek is still playing? What? Why is Voracek still playing? Nino Niederreiter, I knew he would make it with all the goals that he's scoring for this team. He makes the third line with Kadri and Trainer for the All-Star team. Ayat, Huberto, Grigorenko, the D pairs Larson, Vatanen, Martin and Sproul, Gamble and Savard. The goaltenders are, hold on, Kendall and Rod Severson. Peter Kendall, oh man. Where's Peter Kendall play? Who does he play for? Why does that not spring to mind who Peter Kendall is the goaltender for? Can't worry about who Peter Kendall is the goaltender for. Loic Arnaud with the Coyotes forms a line with McDavid and Ratty. That's kind of unreal, disgusting. Arnaud paired with McDavid at that All-Star game. Zharkov, Klimchuk, Puistola, Smith, Galchenyuk, Coyle. Galchenyuk would freaking make it. Palat, Nugent-Hopkins, Caleb Johnson. Nice for Caleb Johnson with the San Jose Sharks, my creative player getting in here. Ekman Larson and Fowler. Schultz, Corrado, Morrissey, Ristolainen. The goaltenders are Campoli and Bala. So I actually have no idea who those goaltenders play for. But there's your representatives. Nice time to just take a peek at what's happened. Kendall, New Jersey goaltender. That's right. Peter Kendall, New Jersey. I knew we faced him in the playoffs, and he has a 176 GAA with a 943 save percentage. What is he doing? Noah Yosin with Philadelphia. He's putting his name into the hat. He has a sub 2 GAA as well. Look at how many goaltenders have a sub 2.0 GAA on that right side of that stat screen there. So there's your top performing goaltenders in the league at the All-Star break, sorted by this list. And then here's the top 8 point scorers, rather. It's Drouin, Stamkos, Klimchuk, Ratty, Strome, Arnaud, Howrluck, and Lee. So there is no Connor McDavid in the top 8 in points. Now that's just points. Drouin is seeking more hardware this year. Maybe a bit of a rejuvenation season here for Steven Stamkos. Your winning goaltenders on the right side, not going to go over that too much. It's an arbitrary stat in my mind. Assist leaders, Strome, Zharkov, Howrluck, Palat, Stamkos, Foster, Huberto, Domi. And then the goals leaders, there is no McDavid in the top 8 here either. I think McDavid had about 18 or 19 when we just played Vancouver before the All-Star break. Drouin looking for both an Art Ross trophy with 65 points there. His goals are 35. Klimchuk for Calgary. I'm curious what Johnny Gaudreau is getting done as well. Niederreiter is on this list, but he is a far cry from the 35 goals that would currently give Jonathan Drouin the Maurice Richard Trophy. The division standings as well. This is the Eastern Conference Atlantic and Metro Division standings. We are second in the division, right behind Tampa Bay. We want to stay right where we are. Get into the playoffs. Make it with this squad. Anaheim has tied Vancouver on points at the All-Star break. However, these two teams have given themselves plenty of separation from the rest of the division, with Phoenix at 54 points, and below that, even more separation. Edmonton at 49, San Jose, who has a couple of my former players on that team, as well as my creative player, Caleb Johnson, are sitting at 48 points. LA, and then for Calgary, man, Johnny Gaudreau, get out of Calgary. It's not going to happen. 42 points in the standings. Colorado has catapulted themselves up to first in the Central Division, and they are back looking to potentially make another run. So Philly outside looking in right now. Not a good sign for them. I really want Philly to get in. But Pittsburgh, a full season without Sidney Crosby, and they're not in the playoffs right now. Actually, the wild card would be... I don't know who would have the wild card tiebreaker between Ottawa and Pittsburgh, but it doesn't matter because the season doesn't end today anyway. But Pittsburgh is right there hunting a playoff spot without Sidney Crosby. And speaking of without Sidney Crosby, it will be 4 more weeks until we get the former Pittsburgh Penguin captain back into our lineup. So we resume the season 13 second half, basically, if you want to look at it this way, the All-Star break splitting the season somewhat in half. The second half simulation. We'll play the Nashville Predators, and the sim is taking a really, really long time for some reason. That took a lot longer than I expected. We are playing an exact 500 Nashville Predators team. Zach Vicali is the guy I'm going to for the rest of the year. 5-2 loss. Great way to come out of the break. Some of you guys partied too hard over the break. They went out on vacation, probably got too drunk, celebrated too hard that it was a nice little break in the middle of the season. 2-1 loss to the Coyotes. I think we get a point in that game, and every point is really going to matter. So scoring summary from the game against Phoenix. Nope, it was just a regulation loss, which is not what we need right now. 3 weeks without Sid. I got to give it up to this team. This team's been really impressive without Sidney Crosby. They played well. The depth that we have has come through as I've needed it. You know, keeping Pacioretty around, keeping Duchesne around. Duchesne a little bit older, but still capable of doing things. Su Kai-Ming is massive for this squad, and he's playing through a playable injury. 7-1 win over the LA Kings. I wish I could see the scoring summary from that game. That gets it back on the right track. I am not going to worry about the Su Kai-Ming injury, because it was a one-day injury unless it becomes a further injury. Begris is now down with a 3-day injury, but it's also a playable one. Crosby is 2 weeks out. Biggs is 7 weeks out. And I mean, maybe I should do a little bit of, pre-trade deadline scouting and see what kind of assets I have. And I should also take a look at who's going to be on the block, because it's early February. The deadline is in a month. I'll scroll forward here on the calendar just from this screen. The deadline is March 4th. So we have like a month and not many games between now and that point to figure out what we want to do at the deadline. Do we think that there's a piece we can add? Now, I should just go ahead and do this. I should just see what kind of assets that I own. So I'm not looking to make a trade, but this is where the value is for all my players. Crosby's trade value dipped really quickly from a season ago, but what's nice is he's still a 91 overall player. He's still 4 White Star potential when this season started and as of right now. So you're going to get another year of beyond this one out of Sidney Crosby for sure. He's a slam dunk player that's going to perform and worth every bit of that $8.7 million cap hit. But that's all my players that are potential trade assets. I'm not looking to actually make a trade, but what I am looking to do is see what kind of draft positions I own. And that's where it gets tough. I don't have this year's first round pick. I do have the 2027 first. And I mean, it's kind of interesting because you kind of want to approach this like a real GM would. But we know that I'm not planning on doing beyond season 15 of this GM mode. So I could trade off draft picks and assets of that kind to get a player to fill out our depth or add to our team. And I have cap space. I have $5.2 million in cap space available right now to go on a potential run if I wanted to purchase a rental from another team. But I don't know who's going to be giving up what just yet until we get to the deadline. And like I said, our big deadline acquisition is really going to be Sidney Crosby. Now, if I'm put in a hole with a big injury before the deadline, I'm absolutely going to try to make a move at the deadline. So we lose 4-2 to the Ottawa Senators. The goal is to just stay top 3 in the division. The goal is to really just make the playoffs. If we have to be a wild card team, so be it. But I want to make the playoffs as a top team in the division. Man, Minnesota 27-7. We lost 3-1 to those guys. Embarrassment. You're not going to make the playoffs if you can't beat teams you're supposed to beat. Beat Toronto. They're 18-26-9. This is a team you got to beat. And we did. We won 4-3 in that one. I don't care if you gave them a point. Toronto is not going to make the playoffs this year. Now, Tampa, before we go into this game against Tampa Bay, I do want to see, where's Tampa Bay? They are 73 points. We are so far. We're not going to catch Tampa Bay. There's just no way. They'd have to have the most insane fall off. In fact, who's going for the President's Trophy? Vancouver at 75 points. Anaheim 72. 73 points for Tampa Bay. The President's Trophy, as it is right now, is in the hands of the Islanders, but the Jackets are there, 75 points. The New Jersey Devils, 75 points. This is kind of a crazy race for the President's Trophy if you really break it down as we get to the last stretch of the season. So we're approaching Valentine's Day, and I would like for Cupid to, I don't know, Cupid needs to strike one of our players in the heart with a love for scoring goals. Leon Draisaitl down for a handful of days, but that's my fourth liner. Well, there's your good news. Sidney Crosby is available. He is officially listed as available to return in the next game. Do I want to let him? It says a day. I'm going to sim up one more day because we don't have a game. We did beat Tampa Bay 2-1, by the way, as we lost Leon Draisaitl. So Draisaitl went out with an injury, and I replaced him with Mikko Rantanen. So I have Leon Draisaitl and Mikko Rantanen on the same team, and Sidney Crosby, I think, is fully healthy and officially going to be back in the lineup ahead of this game against New Jersey. And there it is. 87 is back in the lineup for this game against the New Jersey Devils, fully healthy. Rantanen got sent right back down to the minors. Draisaitl still out with his injury. So as I was saying, I got Draisaitl and Rantanen on the same team. I mean, however, they're not much of, neither player really is much of anything, and that's just due to the fact that I didn't properly edit them before the GM mode started. I gotta send Draisaitl down so he goes back to the AHL. And I can call him up if we have a bad injury, so I'm just gonna send him down. I knew we would probably lose to New Jersey. That's a good team. New Jersey's a good team. They're just rolling. They got goaltending from Kendall right now. I didn't expect to beat them. However, we got it back on the right foot against Pittsburgh, and I wanted to look at the standings again because I want to know, how clear are we of falling out of a playoff spot? We're not really very. In fact, right now the wild card is Carolina, and I think it would be Detroit. Carolina and Detroit occupy wild card positioning, and Carolina's at 71 points. That's going to be tough to catch if we fall behind them. If we fall into a wild card position, we want to try to stay above the teams below us, like Detroit and Florida and Buffalo. Those teams that are hanging around 60 or so points. We got to stay way above that. We need to just win games. It's really this simple. We just need to win games. Philadelphia, man, I don't know what's going on. They have so let's look at this. Noah Yosend is the best goaltender, tied with Kindle for the best save percentage in the league. And he has the second best GAA in the league. The two best goaltenders in the league are Kindle with New Jersey and Yosend with Philadelphia. New Jersey's doing what they need to do. They occupy a playoff spot, but Philly, 50 points. Not going to make the postseason. No, unless they just went on a tear. They could, but they'd have to go on a tear to make the postseason. I just don't understand it. It just proved to you that I don't think that having a great goaltender really necessarily, or something's just wrong with Philly. The way that Philly is built, something's wrong with Philadelphia. But you don't necessarily need the best goaltender in the league to simulate well in this game. And it's not that Yosend is the best goalie in the league, but, I mean, he's clearly good enough, and it's not helping Philadelphia at all. That's clearly what I should do. I should try to pry Noah Yosend out of Philadelphia, offer them like Fucale and a ton of other players. Severson is down for a few weeks. We're going to have to eat that injury. Okay, Damon Severson is down for like a couple weeks. Sigalet got back in there. He was a healthy defenseman, ready to go. And now Tori Reinprecht is down. Tori Reinprecht is playing, I thought he was playing like second line. Severson is a 10-day injury. I think Reinprecht was playing second. He was playing second line. So we did win. We got a win over LA with the injury to Severson there, and we also won 5-4. So running with Fucale has, I think, been the right call for our team. The updated look, there's the points leaders. Pause if you want to see it. Goudreau's getting himself into that list, though. 60 points for Calgary. They're not going to make it, though, because the Flames, let me go over here. You know what? 59 points. It's doable. The wild card, right? It's total. Dude, they can make the wild card. It's not over for Calgary. I kind of wrote them off, but it is not entirely over. St. Louis has taken over the Central Division lead. Vancouver cruising out front at 82 points, with Anaheim chasing slowly behind. We're doing what we need to do right now to just stay in front. We're in a good position in what I would say is a pretty sort of weak Atlantic division. I mean, Tampa is just far and above better than everybody else in this division. But we're taking on Nashville now with the reinsertion of what? That's right. We lost Ryan Preck. The reinsertion of Leon Draisaitl playing second line minutes and on my power play, 5-1 loss. Well, I mean, you're going to lose some games. We're going to lose some games down the stretch. It's just going to be what it's going to be. Niederreiter just casually pulling up a 30-goal season if he scores 2 more goals on the year, which should happen, unless he just has a catastrophic season-ending injury. And if you look at that, the deadline is rapidly approaching. Let's just sim past the Calgary game and assess what I think our needs are. If we're going to lose a big player to injury, please don't let it happen. But if we're going to lose a big name player to injury, not named Sidney Crosby, this is a good time to kind of do it against the Flames. So if we're going to lose like a crucial second line player like a Kuzhawinski, and I need to make a move at the deadline, this is the time to get injured. And don't do it to Niederreiter. That scared the shit out of me because there is an injury. It's Cam Sigalet. He injured his groin and he just got in there. So I might have to make a call up on, let me see, there's my, oh God, it's all over the place. There's my D, and here's my defenseman. Yeah, well, I have Ennis. Severson is technically, he's injured, so he can't play. I mean, he could probably play through a playable injury, but I'm not going to do it to Severson, so Ennis just gets in there. All right, we're going to send past Anaheim. I got an idea for a trade at the deadline, and you're going to love it. This is going to be an interesting one. We won over Anaheim. I do need to go into negotiations because I've got a player for relatively nice trade value as well. And I'm going to show you in a second. Yep. Milan Lucic from Boston. They want to trade the guy away. Your rep with Boston can't get much worse. Well, I guess we're direct rivals, but we've made trades with each other in the GM mode. He's 37, but this guy would add a lot of physicality. He's actually pretty decent at skating as well. This would be a fun add to like the third line or whatever, wherever the hell we would play Lucic. He would give us depth if we did have an injury. The best part about it, relatively cheap cap hit, 1-year deal that's expiring. He'll probably retire in the off season, go play for a rival team of the Boston Bruins. I guess he spent his whole career with Boston. He scored goals against us when we faced this Boston team in the playoffs in the past. The last time they were there, 10 points, 3 goals in 12 games, and his regular season to this point. But you just need Lucic to go out there and be an imposing presence on the ice and chip in the occasional goal. The nice thing is he would give us a lift in terms of the depth. So the trade value is the biggest appeal for me here. So that's my first look option. I'm not dead set on Lucic. The other option is another rival team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're looking to dump Michael Grabner, 38 years old. This, from a offense and skating perspective, would be a far more enticing player. Similar kind of deal with Lucic. 1 year left, and he's got a reasonable AAV, making $3 million even for purely a rental player. Let's take a look at what he's done. This might be the better option, actually. I mean, he's got the offense going there, 37 points, 21 goals. He can score goals. He would be a fun ad for a playoff run and to potentially get us over the top and make sure that we finish as a top 3 team in the division. And he's got those attributes that I love. He's a great skater. So, I actually changed my mind. I think I'm going to go with Grabner. I got to show you the trade value again. It's very low. I could probably get Grabner for a couple of, I could probably just dump a second and a third. I might just dump a second this year for Grabner and a third next year for Grabner. The league would not approve this, but I don't know why the league would not approve this. Would I have to send a player? What if I sent a prospect player that's down in the AHL the other way? I could give you guys I'll send Tierney. Would that make it work? Chris Tierney, a second and a third for Michael Grabner, no salary retained or anything like that. The Leafs want to dump him off. They're not going to make the playoffs. Do they accept? I have several opportunities to make this work, and I'll come back. I'll probably throw in like a 5th round pick if this doesn't work for Toronto, but it seems like they accepted the trade offer. Chris Tierney, you've been traded, and I have acquired Michael Grabner. There's my big trade deadline acquisition. It wasn't too painful, and I didn't feel like it was an overpayment or anything like that. So Grabner is here, right? He's on the, there he is, Michael Grabner on the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, by the way, one more time, the stats for Grabner. I showed it earlier, but there's the stats. We'll have to compare the stats at this point of the trade to the end of the season to see what Grabner does with the Montreal Canadiens, playing on the power play with Sidney Crosby. If things get dire, I could even see putting him up with Crosby on the first line at 5-on-5. Okay, we made our move. Michael Grabner from Toronto, the two top rivals in the NHL. They get Tierney back, but he was basically just a depth center for me, and now I have plenty of depth, especially with the addition of Michael Grabner. That just gives me a really nice player that can play on my top 6 or wherever the hell you need Grabner to play. You can just play anywhere for our team and be successful. So these are all transactions, but I want to see all trades that have been made. Not much of a trade there at the deadline between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So rival teams are making trades with each other, I guess. That's the theme of the deadline. Vlasic goes to Philadelphia from San Jose. So San Jose shipping some players out. Doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs. Saad goes to the Rangers from San Jose. They are shipping players out. Savard to Tampa Bay. That just stacks, but that was made in February of 2026. I forgot about it. Where did Louis LeBlanc end up signing? I totally forgot that was a storyline. So we're going to have to check out the stats at some point. By the end of the season, I'll find Louis LeBlanc and figure out, because that's a player that we're missing. We are Louis LeBlanc-less for the entirety of season 13. And that's it for the deadline. There were no further trades made. We have Michael Grabner on this team with a returning Torrey Reinprecht in another day. You know, I might as well just put I should just go put Reinprecht in the lineup. All right, we're taking on McDavid's Canucks, 42-16-6. This Canucks team is pretty unreal. They are 90 points in the standings, 5 clear of Anaheim, and they are going to make the playoffs. There's no question about it that Vancouver will make it into the postseason. Philadelphia clinging on to a lifeline with Noah Yosin as their goaltender, who is still on save percentage, the best goaltender in the league. On GAA, he's up there as a top 4 goaltender in the league. Let's sim this game from this screen because I want to see if McDavid rips us a new one in this game. I just want to see if McDavid sims well. It's a 5-on-3 power play to start the game, and we killed it all off. So I'm just going to do the sim against Vancouver from this screen. But there's a goal from Niederreiter. This guy is tearing it up. Can we see a goal from Michael Grabner in this game? My first simulation with Grabner as a part of the Montreal Canadiens since the deadline. Seeloff shorthanded goal from the defenseman Seeloff. The Canucks have yet to come through on, I'm assuming it is Zach Fucale in the net because I turned off auto-rotate goaltender, so I know it's not Fucale. Pacioretty extends the lead, 3-0 is that game. Did Pacioretty call a game? Joachim Nordstrom on the power play on Fucale. There's the goal from McDavid, 3-2. Uh-oh, and just like that, you can't call game on this one. 4-2, empty net goal. You can call a game now. Uh-oh, hold on. Drayson Bowman scores and makes it closer than it ever should have been. 4-3 victory. What a wild one with Vancouver. And there's your scoring summary. 30th of the season, by the way. That was Niederreiter's official 30th goal on the year. 25 on the season for Connor McDavid. I thought McDavid might go off. I was a little nervous for that simulation. And we march on. Further beyond the deadline. Another week, another step closer to the end of the season. Sigalet, the defenseman, out for 4 weeks, which is almost the end of the season. I mean, practically is the end of the season at that point. We're taking on the Bruins, who I was thinking of making a trade with. Milan Lucic remains in Boston. We did not pry him away from that situation. I don't even know why I'm doing any scouting anymore, because I don't have a first-round pick for this year because we made that trade last year. So when I got Sidney Crosby, I traded away the 2026 first-round pick. So I don't have this upcoming off-season's first-round pick. I don't have the second-round pick anymore either because I traded it in the deal that I just made to get Michael Grabner. So I'm all in on getting rental players. I'm just trading for rentals. I do have next year's first round pick if I need to make a trade next season, but we are dropping the ball. I can't believe that Grabner is not making a difference. Okay, I'm going to send past Philly. You have an opportunity here we got to get it back. We got to get the train back on the rails here. We have derailed this train for a few games here. Got to win. I know it's Philadelphia. And it is a 3-2 win over Philadelphia. Himmelfarb, that's down in the A. So we got the 3-2 win. Man, Philly's struggling. 27, 34, and 18. That puts them in the East. That almost buries them. I mean, your wild card teams are 77, 70. Yeah, they're buried. They're not making the playoffs. In fact, I just realized that we're the team with 75 points in the wild card. So those 3 losses, that 3-game losing streak, Boston, Detroit, Florida, before the win over Philly, that threw us down the standing. That threw us down the order. And with Florida hot on our heels, we got to win games. So we have, how many games do we have left? We have this week, these 3 games, then we have these 4, and then we have another 3, and that's it. Season ends against Toronto on the road. So that's all that we have left in the season. We got to get hot. If we start losing games, I'm going to shift some of the lines around. I need my best players, especially my top 6, just stay healthy to the end of the year. Do not drop a nuke on me with a Sidney Crosby injury, especially playing the Pittsburgh Penguins at home. And we win. There's a big one. 4-1 win over Crosby's former team. Niederreiter gets his 31st goal of the year in that game. Your leading point getters, your leading goal scorers. Niederreiter top 8 in the league with 31 goals on the year. Very impressive season. Tampa Bay is running away with the division. They have taken... Tampa Bay has officially taken the division. There's no way that they haven't won the division. I don't even know if it's mathematically possible for Buffalo to catch them with 78 or Ottawa. And I think Tampa would basically have to lose every single game they play for the rest of the year in regulation play. So Vancouver is... Who has the most points in the league? It is Vancouver right now. So Vancouver is... They got a hand on that President's Trophy right now with McDavid leading the way. So we're playing the Rangers. That's a struggling team. Don't care about Biggs. He can just be a healthy extra for now. Especially with the addition of... he's not a healthy extra. He's going to replace Bertrand. But with the addition of Grabner and the return of Ryan Precht, but now we can throw anyone we want to in here. I have Byers. Really not helping ourselves out with the losing because we're about to play Philly. After we play Philly, especially if we lose, I'm going to take a look at the standings. I'm going to scroll over to the standings for a short bit. This is a tough year for Philadelphia. We should be able to beat them. We just played them not that long ago, and we did beat them. They have Noah Yosin in net. And Bertrand is available. Okay, that doesn't bother me too much. Did we win that game? We did. We won 4-2. Bertrand is just going to be a healthy extra, so that is a 3-2 win the week before that. And then the game we just played was a 4-2 win over Philadelphia. Niederreiter racks up 32 goals on the season. After these 2 games, I do need to check on the standings. This is going to be periodically... Every other game, checking on the standings, just to make sure that we are in a wild card spot or in a playoff spot. The only thing that I can really do is just change the lineup if things get kind of dire. All I can do is change the lineup. 2-0 loss to Columbus. That's not a point in that game. We're playing Washington at home. 5-1 win. Okay, that corrects the loss to Columbus in a way. So now I do need to take a look at the standings because a few games have passed. It looks to me like Drouin's going to win the scoring trophies, the Art Ross, and he's going to win the Richard Trophy. Yeah, he's winning the Richard Trophy again. He just doesn't stop. There is no brakes on that, kids. Oh no, we are 6th. We are outside looking in. We are officially outside looking in with this team. This is getting really nerve-wracking time. We'll take a look at the West too, by the way. There's the West. Pause if you want to see it in detail. Got to start winning games, man. We can't fool around with this anymore. Sergei Tolchensky, that's down in the A. I'm just going to send past these 2 games, New Jersey and Carolina. Crazy, too, with Niederreiter. He could have a 40-goal season. He just needs to score 7 more. He could score 40. And this team could miss the playoffs. With a guy that could score 40, with Sidney Crosby, Duchesne, Ming down the middle. There's Sigalet returning to the lineup. 2-1 loss. I hope we got a point in that game. Man, that's big. I just realized that Damon Severson was a healthy extra. He was returning from injury, and I totally forgot that he got fully healthy, and he's just been sitting there as a healthy extra D, and now Ryan Kudrowski. That's why I went and acquired. He's done for the rest of the regular season. That's why I went and acquired Grabner right there. So, yeah, I guess I just move Ryan Precht up and then find someone that's a healthy extra and slide him in there. It's probably going to be Byers or Bertrand. Ryan Kudrowski is a tough loss. I don't even know what happened with the game that we lost Kudrowski to. I think we win the game that I had to go in and frantically edit the lines. But I mean, I'm glad I have the depth. The addition of Grabner was huge. With a 3-0 win, we won 2-1 over Carolina. Okay, so we're getting it done without Kudrowski, and we're getting it done despite all the adversity that we face. We are outside looking in. We're at the wild card right now is Carolina and Ottawa with the 87. That was a big win over Ottawa because we didn't give them a point. This is how many games left? Oh my God! Last 5 games of the season. It is going to be. We're going to have to tread very slowly here, take it one game at a time. If this team can get into the playoffs, every meeting we have, Matt, we need to kind of win out. We kind of sort of need to win out. So I'm going to trust this group as it is. Zach Fucali, you're my guy. The addition, oh no, did we get a point? Did we get a point? Scoring summary, we lost in regulation. We're still 2 points. We're lagging behind Detroit, but we can climb into that wild card position. We got to win, man. Florida hot on our heels. We have another head-to-head with Ottawa as well coming up. Of course, we would have to play Tampa 2 times in a row. That's kind of that might dick our team over a little bit here. I don't care what you do. You just got to win games. Niederreiter has scored 35 goals this season. I don't know if it's happening for the season 13 Canadiens. 47, 24, and 7. Tampa Bay Lightning team. They can be beaten. They can be beaten. And they were not beaten. That's a 4-3 loss. Did that loss right there just bury us? Did it bury us? We got 8. We were at 85 points. The wild card cutoff is now 88 points. We are crap in the bed right here. We're going to have to win out. You know what? I'm going to have to make some... I might make some desperate... I'm going to do it. It's time for a desperation move. I'm going to go Grabner first line 5-on-5. Alright, first line Grabner 5-on-5. Do I sim it? I'm going to sim these last 3 games in the sim screen. Not from here. Let's do it from the sim screen. I mean, as we enter this game against Tampa Bay, we have 3 games left in the regular season. We are outside looking in. We're sitting at 85 points. The cutoff is 88. With Florida, Ottawa in that mix, we still control our own destiny, but we're going to need some help as well. I mean, we're going to need Ottawa to lose some games. All goals. ×6 simulation in Tampa for this game. Late in the regular season. I'm so nervous simulating. I don't know if we're going to get in. Nurmark scores on Fucali. It's a 1-0 lead. Tampa Bay. End of the first period. Season in the balance for the Canadiens. A loss here, a loss in regulation, or just a loss in general, really just cements our season as not a playoff team. Uh-oh, we don't have a goal. 2-0 Drouin. He would score on Fucali. We're not getting anything. We're not going to get anything. Are we going to... We got one there, Ben Messier on the power play. 2-1 game. Tie it. Tie game, Ben Messier. On Kolzak Nikitin. Don't lose in regulation. We didn't. OT, get the win. Get the win. We did! Su Kai Ming scored in overtime on Nikitin. Huge. Oh my God, what a crazy game that was. I don't care that we gave Tampa a point. We got our point. We got our 2 points. Oh my God, man. Ben Messier, clutch as hell. Power play goal from Duchesne and Ming, I believe. Even strength. That's what I was trying to say. My brain's gone. Even strength goal. And Su Kai Ming from Crosby and Seeloff in overtime. So we come out of that crazy game against Tampa, which was a must-win situation, and we lose Chris Begris until like May. The game would slap me right in the freaking balls with an injury like that. Like, come on. But now what are the standings looking like? Got Noah Yosin, .938 save percentage in the regular season, and Peter Kendall, the 2 best goaltenders in the league right there. Why can't we get goaltending like that? We would be a division winner. We would be a President's Trophy winner with no questions asked. It is a tight race, man. It's coming down. This game, every game is so important. We have got to win out, and we need some help. We got to win out. We have a total. We can get to 91 points. We cannot have Florida and Detroit win out. We gotta. I don't know what's gonna happen here. There's the West. I'm so nervous about to sim this game. Ottawa Senators. Let's go into it. I don't have any choice. Let's go into it. Sigalette with an increased roll. All goals. Only goals. Only Canadiens goals, please. Please, 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 please. Canadiens goals. I'm sick to my stomach with this simulation because this simulation matters. These games matter. This matters. We're getting power plays and we're not coming through on any of them. Where's Ben Messier when you need him? Oh my God, 0-0 tie going to the third with power plays out the wazoo and you can't score on one of them? Oh my God, 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 oh my God. Overtime? Win the game in OT. There it is! Damon Severson, and the only goal scored in the game is Damon Severson in overtime. I'm shaking! What is this? Oh, why is the simulation being the way that it is? The lone goal of the game, Damon Severson in overtime, the only one that really, and the one that matters. You gotta be absolutely stepping on my balls now. No Ming is just massive, man, massive. Man, we would lose Sukai Ming, in the most crucial part of the season, but I'm hinging on Grabner. This is where it really matters what Grabner does with Sidney Crosby. It really matters. We're simming up to the day of the game against Toronto. This is the season finale right here. This is it. Do or die time. Can we make it? Oh my God. We could do it. We just need help. We need Florida to not win, and we have got to win. We need 2 points. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to be nice and offer us 2 points in the standings. Florida can't win. Buffalo can't win. The most we can get is 91. I think we're kind of screwed. But anyway, we're going into this game. Toronto Maple Leafs simming out. Please give me luck. Luck be with us tonight. Luck be in the air tonight. Against the Maple Leafs on the road at the ACC. We had a power play. We didn't score on it. I'm so nervous going through the sim, but it may not matter. I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. Another scoreless tie after one period. Please, power play goal. No, we didn't get it. Grabner is not doing anything and playing his former team, Max Pacioretty. There's the goal. Max Pacioretty on a wrist shot. Grabner against his former team in the season finale. So Fucali just holds serve right here. There's a goal from Gauthier at the end of the second period. Really back-breaking goal there to give up from Fucali. Oh, there it is. Sidney Crosby. Okay. That gives us some relief. I just need 2 points out of this game, Canadiens. I need 2 points. There's a goal from Niederreiter. That tacks it on. That's the game. We're going to get 2 points. We did our job. And there's your scoring summary from that stressful... Oh, Grabner got an assist, though, on the Crosby goal. So the addition of Grabner coming through to aid us in a victory against the Leafs. Was it enough? I don't know if it was enough. I don't think it was enough. We're going to find out. Was it enough? Was it enough? We did what we needed to do. We won out the last 3 games of the season. I don't care about the battery. Was it enough? I don't know that it was enough. Oh my God. It wasn't enough, was it? No, it was not enough. We missed by 1 point. So we will not have a season 13 playoffs. Rough. A couple of injuries. We just needed to win one more game along the way. When does it confirm the end of the regular? I mean, we didn't make it, so there's... Okay, I don't care about that. The season has concluded. We didn't make it. I don't care about what the owner says. So my question is, what's the playoff tree? That's a heartbreaking way to end the season. One of the few times we have not qualified for the playoffs with the teams that I put together, and we missed by 1 point. So Vancouver, if they get to the Stanley Cup final, I'm going to be pissed. So there's all the teams that made it. It'll be Vancouver, San Jose, Anaheim, Phoenix, St. Louis, Edmonton, the defending champ, Colorado Avalanche against Winnipeg. Tampa Bay plays New Jersey, Detroit, Buffalo, Columbus, Ottawa, New York Islanders, and Carolina in the first round. That's all your first round matchups. We're going to take a look at... Let's just take a look at the stats as we wrap this video up. That's not what I wanted to go to. And the best players from the regular season. We just kind of burned a year. We burned that year of Sidney Crosby. Remember that he was injured. He missed almost half the season with an injury. He was out for 3 months during that simulation. And we just burned that year of Sidney Crosby. If he was healthy for a chunk of those games, we win one game, we're in the playoffs. That's what's heartbreaking about that simulation we just did, is we just win one more game, we're in the playoffs. So Niederreiter, the leading, he had 36 goal a year. Niederreiter was worth, I gave him a new contract in the offseason. We banged fists over the table over a contract offer with Niederreiter and ended up being worth he was well worth the money. 36 goal, 69 point season, playing on my first line with Crosby. Or whoever was the first line center. Duchesne, Ming at one point was the first line center. Pacioretty in his last year as a Canadian, 37 goal or age 37 season. Yeah, 1 year deal. Do we bring him back one more go around? Duchesne, 74 games, but man, just the 16 goals, 52 points, underwhelming year from a now 35-year-old Matt Duchesne, making $6 million AAV for this 1 year. You got to bring back Duchesne though, right? Excuse my burp. Crosby in 47 games, 51 points. Still better than point per game. 38 years old. We got him locked up for 2 years, so we got one more guaranteed year of Crosby. Su Kai-Ming, disappointing year. 70 games played. Got injured at the tail end of the season. Still, I don't think has played. Has he ever played 82 games? I don't think he's ever played a full 82 game season. And just a little underwhelming, 41 points, 15 goals. Grabner, I don't know how many of those were with the Canadiens, but you can do the math on that because his stats at the time of the trade at the deadline are in the video. So he finishes with 23 goals, 41 points. Was it really worth picking up Grabner? I guess so. We still missed the playoffs. Vigris, 1 goal. Man, 1 goal in 70 games. As a defenseman, I don't care if you're a blue liner, just 1 goal. Really underwhelming. Reinprecht with almost a 30-goal season. Okay, this was a big breakout year for Reinprecht. He scores almost 30 playing top 6 minutes plus 13. Freaking amazing year for this power forward. Is he an expiring deal? But he's coming back. We're bringing back Reinprecht in the offseason. Kujawinski, injured at points, underwhelming. Pretty underwhelming. You're playing in the top 6, 13 goals. That's all he can offer. Ben Messier, 7 goals in 80 games, including those clutch goals late in the season simulation. Damon Severson, 7 in 66 games played. Hedman with 2 goals, and he is an expiring. No, he's not an expiring offer, so we'll keep Hedman around. Robinson Franzen, I picked him up in free agency to a 2-year deal just because of the skating category. Stromwall, Bertrand, Vovoda. Biggs, Vovoda playing all 82 games. Biggs, Ronning, Siloff, Stanley Byers, Sigalette, Draisaitl, 2 goals, 6 points in 22 games. Came up, just gave him a shot because of injuries. May have cost the team a playoff spot. It might have. And then, so that's all the skaters, and then there's the goaltending. So what kind of year for Fucali? 57 games played is more like it, 2.44 GAA. Maybe I should have just ran with Jones at the end of the regular season at some point in there. He had a 92 save percentage in the games he played in. Fucali was just equally as good. Fucali did exactly what was asked of him. And this compares, he was brought back on a new contract. This compares to last year in 78 games. The lighter workload seemed to help him out, get his numbers back down to earth and back down to where they need to be. 920 save percentage at the end of the year. That is a lot more like it from Zachary Fucali. So he was not really the issue in net. We'll take a look at the team standings as well to finish off the regular season. So, sorted by points, the winner, or the President's Trophy winner, the regular season champion, would be the Columbus Blue Jackets. They finished with 115 points. Vancouver right behind that. Having McDavid helps. It really stinks. We literally are the last team, first team outside looking in, if you want to put it that way. We're the first team to miss the playoffs with 91 points. We win one more game, we're in. Just one more game in the season. But, that's how it is. It stings. It really does sting. All these teams missed it. There's your rebuilders. Philadelphia just shocks me. They got the best goaltender in the league, and they can't make the playoffs. New Jersey did get in with Kendall, which doesn't shock me with Peter Kendall, the goaltender there. Goals for per game, I want to sort it by per game. We are just middle of the pack. We finished with a middle of the pack goals for 2.76. Can't complain too much with that. Would like to see a little more offense, but can't complain. I'm guessing we were actually decent in terms of goals against per game. 2.55 goals against per game. Power play percentage, 17. Could have been a little bit better. But top 12, can't complain with the top 12 power play in the league. Short-handed, little bit there's a little bit left to be desired from that penalty kill. It could be closer to 85%. I would like to have gotten it closer to 85%. So maybe that was the thing that kept us out of the playoffs, was the fact that we didn't have a good enough penalty kill. Who was the best goal scoring team in the league in goals for per game? Who had the best offense? Vancouver? It was Vancouver. 3.13, the best team in goals against per game. Belongs to St. Louis. St. Louis finishes with the best goals against per game. Toronto with 2.39 and didn't make the playoffs. Oh, well, we got something. The Calder Cup champions are the Hamilton Bulldogs. So there you go. Hamilton wins the Calder Cup. New Jersey obviously takes home the Stanley Cup. They played, well, I'm not going to say it here. I won't spoil it here. Upcoming cap. So it did get over 90 million as the max cap for the upcoming season. The Devils, they played the St. Louis Blues, the Battle of Martin Brodeur's teams. So we had the Battle of Patrick Waugh's teams a season ago in the Stanley Cup final. How fitting is that? And now we have the Battle of Martin Brodeur's former teams. I know it's still weird to me that he played games as a member of the St. Louis Blues. The East went like this. It was New Jersey's path. They took on Tampa Bay, then beat Detroit in probably a thrilling 7-game series. In fact, both series in the second round took 7 games, and then a full-on sweep over the Ottawa Senators, didn't New Jersey play Ottawa in the East Final in 2012? Am I getting that wrong or something? I feel New Jersey played Ottawa in the playoffs one year. So they make it all the way to the Stanley Cup final, taking out Ottawa, who played 7 games against Columbus, 7 games against the Islanders. So those 14 games probably wore the Ottawa Senators out by the time they played New Jersey. On the other hand, McDavid again, man. McDavid and the Canucks. So the Canucks get to the West Final. They sweep the Sharks. They beat Anaheim. And then they take on St. Louis and they win 1 game in the conference final. So McDavid and the Canucks are just cursed to never make it out of the conference final in this GM mode. They get there again. Colorado was 1 game short of getting back to the conference final again. They lose in 7 to St. Louis. So St. Louis went 6 games over Edmonton, 7 games over Colorado, and 5 games over Vancouver to get to the Stanley Cup final. We miss out for the first time in forever. In fact, I'm going to do a quick little wrap up for you. I'm going to show you all the seasons that we've done in the GM mode. It's actually not here. It's in the GM tracker. There you go. Statistics. So this is season 13, 2025, right up there at the top of the screen that's highlighted with the white bar across of it. That was season 13. We finished with 91 points. We did not qualify. There have been a total of 3 times in the GM mode. 3 times we've not qualified for the playoffs. Season 3 was the first time we did not qualify. We missed the playoffs that year. We missed the playoffs in season 5, and we missed the season 13 playoffs. We have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Stanley Cups in the GM mode, and we have had 2 appearances in the Stanley Cup final in which we lost. There in 2021, we lose to Edmonton. What season was that? Was that season 10? I don't even know what season that was. We lose in season 12. So this is season 12. This is season 11, 10, 9. That was season 9. So we lose in the season 9 Stanley Cup final to Edmonton. We lose the season 12 Stanley Cup final to the Colorado Avalanche. Both in game 7s, by the way. Both were lost in game 7s, and we did not qualify here in season 13. We had 3 in a row here. We won 3 in a row, 2018, 19, 20. And then we lost in that Game 7 to Edmonton. That would have been our 4th straight Stanley Cup, which would have solidified us as a dynasty. I mean, this team kind of is a dynasty. There's 4 cups in 5 years, starting with 2016, 4 cups in 5 seasons. It's pretty impressive. That makes us a dynasty. We're basically a dynasty. Modern-day dynasty. We have not won the Cup now in a guaranteed 2 seasons. So there's 2 seasons without the Stanley Cup in a row. And we'll take a look at the award screen. There's 2 things I'm going to round this video out with. The award screen, the Stanley Cup champions, and we'll take a look at all the stats from the regular season, and that'll be it before I will see you again for the season 14 contracts negotiations. But first, as I pull the cable, New Jersey wins the Stanley Cup to split the Avalanche, then the Canadiens, then the Avalanche, and then the Devils. So there's your 4 most recent Stanley Cup winners. The season 13 championship going the way of the New Jersey Devils. The President's Trophy winners for the first time, I think, in the GM mode, Columbus. Didn't do them any good. They lost in the playoffs. St. Louis gets back to the Stanley Cup final. You can see that St. Louis, you have Colorado, St. Louis, Colorado, St. Louis. So we're seeing a theme and trends in these Stanley Cup finals and these deep playoff runs. The trend being Phoenix was a trend for a while with the President's Trophy, and then Stanley Cup winners, the Canadiens and Avalanche swapping Stanley Cups. That was a theme for a while. The Blues and Avs getting there in the West, the Canadiens getting there in the East. But we didn't even freaking make the playoffs this year, so we couldn't win that Prince of Wales trophy this year. The Art Ross trophy goes back to Jonathan Drouin, so it returns to familiar hands with Drouin of the Lightning winning it. He also wins the Hart trophy again, so it goes back to him for yet another time in his career. The Norris goes to Fowler. So is that Cam Fowler's first Norris trophy in the GM mode? The Lady Bing to Drouin, so he gets Drouin just bringing home the hardware. Von Art with the New York Rangers wins the Rookie of the Year trophy. Hishawn the Conn Smythe with New Jersey. We've seen New Jersey. The Vezina did go to Noah Yosin. So Peter Kendall won it the year before that, but I felt like Kendall was the best goalie in the league. The voters did not decide that. It was actually Noah Yosin, very deserving of my created goalie, won a Vezina trophy. The goaltender that I created for the draft class just won a Vezina with a team that didn't make the playoffs. Calvin Pickard and Bennington win the William M. Jennings trophy as the best goaltending tandem in the league. They made the final with the St. Louis Blues yet again, and they lost again. So the Blues have faced us twice in the final and lost, and now they just lost to New Jersey in the final. Mirko Mueller wins the Masterton. McDavid, fourth straight Selke, no big deal about it for Connor McDavid. Ted Lindsay goes to Jonathan Drouin, third time in the last 4 seasons. The Richard Trophy, also third time in the last 4 seasons, belongs to Jonathan Drouin. And that's it. And I will take a look at the stats. Oh, and by the way, let me flip this over, because the Hamilton Bulldogs are Calder Cup champions. That's your Montreal Canadiens AHL affiliate. I'm a genius. This is where it gets interesting, because there's players that I need to try to find. Some of my creative players are players that have moved on from our organization, and see what they did in the regular season sim. Notably, what happened to Louis LeBlanc, PK Subban, players we've moved on from, and players that I've created for the draft classes. But Drouin wins the Art Ross by 100 with 107 points, so he won it by 7 points over the Flames. Morgan Klimchuk, Ty Ratty, right in there with St. Louis. So I'm just going to go down the list. There's my created player with the Coyotes. Arnaud puts together a 40-goal, 88-point season. How does that compare to last year? Very similar numbers. In fact, he improved his goal-scoring touch in 74 games played, plus 15 rating, and of course his playoffs. So just the 4 games in the postseason with the Coyotes. Johnny Gaudreau, how does that compare to previous seasons? He's 32 now, 85 points, 26. And again, for those that are asking, I created Gaudreau and put him in the game. So this is my created version of Johnny Gaudreau now at 32 years of age. And what's the deal? 1 year left, so he could reach free. I would leave Calgary if I was Gaudreau. They're never going to get it done there. They have really had some weird regular seasons with some really good players on that team. The one playoff season was 23-24 here, 6 games played. So they haven't really done anything in Gaudreau's time there with the Flames. Jonathan Huberdeau, Connor McDavid, and how does the McDavid season compare to last year? 35 goals, 82, similar trajectory in 82 games. So he's a very consistent performer. McDavid is. He's the best player in the game. He's 96 overall. His trade value is as high as it possibly can be in this game. He's 29 years old. He's signed to a really big, long-term deal. I don't know what the max years you can get in this game is. I think it's 7. But he's signed to 7 years. Of course, that 7 does not apply anymore. Once we get to the offseason, that first year is burned away from that deal. And he signed at a $13.6 million AAV. But there's his playoff stats. 15 games played, 10 points, 4 goals. You probably would like to see him do closer to 13 goals in 16 games if you're going to get over that playoff hump. But they got to the conference final, and they couldn't get over it as they lose to the St. Louis Blues, who went on to lose to the New Jersey Devils. And I think every single category except for... This is ridiculous. This is absurd. Every single category except for physical is a 5-star category, and his body checking is a 99. He's got a 99 puck skills, 99 across the board shooting, almost a 99 everywhere except face-offs in the defense category. And his skating, his speed probably could have been a little higher, but I mean, how good can you make McDavid? He's already good enough. So then there's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Sagan, down the list. I'm just going to keep scrolling down the list now. At this point, Galchenyuk with the Avalanche. They didn't get there this time. They didn't get back to the Cup final, but he had a pretty good season. And I'm just going to keep on going. And Niederreiter, 36 goals for Niederreiter. We'll take another look at the leading goal scorers and where everyone finished this season. So now sorted by best goal scorers in the league, Niederreiter is a top 8 goal scorer in the league this year. 53 goals from Drouin. And I never really compared it, but what does that compare to last? I mean, this was a beast year for Drouin. 107, 53 goals. That's crazy production out of Jonathan Drouin. And yet the Lightning still did not get it done. They still didn't win a Stanley Cup or do anything. Caleb Johnson, my created player for the draft class, 2 years left on the deal, came to new terms with San Jose in the offseason. More stats on the screen for you. And San Jose made the playoffs, so what did he do in the playoffs? He had 4 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist. Ayat with Carolina, I saw that name. I remember seeing that name somewhere. So just showing you the top goal scorers. Quite a few 30 goal scorers in this season simulation for season 13. Torrey Reinprecht, I mean, I'm telling you, Torrey Reinprecht had a really good year, and my controller just died. Torrey Reinprecht had a really impressive year and he grew to an 82. He was an 81 during the season simulate. He grew. He's an 82 now, and he's going to need a new contract in the offseason. So that will be fun to sit down and talk with that guy. The top point-getting defenseman, I'm just going to show a few of these players, but this is sorted by points. Look at this, 22 goals from Bryson Martin from the New York Islanders, 30-year-old, 2014, 28th overall pick in the first round by the Islanders, coming through with some big offensive production for that team. Shaz Levy, we had him for a while. He's now found his way to Carolina. We had him as a 7th defenseman, and he produces 41 points and 15 goals. I should have kept him. I should have held on to that guy. There's Dalton Thrower. Where's he playing now? He's still in Buffalo. So he's still in Buffalo, 40 points. We ended up trading Dalton Thrower to the Boston Bruins once upon a time. So just sorting all these. There you go. There's PK Subban. Potentially his last season. And no, you know what? He's still a 4-star potential player on a 3-year. He's probably coming back for another season with LA. And he just basically does more of this. You know, pretty decent production. 34 points. He had just 19 points in 44 games. So that's just, I guess that's decent production for Subban, but the -9 really sticks out like a sore thumb with Los Angeles. And he didn't make the playoffs with LA this year either. Axel Arneson, there's another creative player playing with McDavid's Canucks, the 4th overall pick in 2014. A luxury for Vancouver to have such a big, like physically, literally big defenseman standing at 6'8", 216 at 29 years of age. 76 games played, 34 points for Arneson. Eric Johnson, who the Sabres signed to this big deal, 2 years, $10 million. He was with the Avalanche. We saw him in that Stanley Cup final. He was a little bit of a nuisance in that final. There's his production, his first year as a Sabre. Pretty similar production to what he did with Colorado a season ago. And he played in just the 5 games with the Sabres in the playoffs. They didn't do much of anything, but they did more than we did because they actually made the playoffs. Goalies sorted by games played. Eric Brassard doing the most for the Avs, 2.36 GAA. With Vancouver and Colorado having really decent goaltending also helps them out. 92 save percentages, respectable GAAs, very good GAA. And I'm just going to go down the list. I wish save percentage was in here in this column, but I have to scroll all the way over here. So this is sorted by games played. Fucali is in that mix. And so there's your goaltenders. Noah Yosin finishes with a 93 save percentage. Like I said, I mean, the best goaltender in the league, 2.09 GAA in 53 games. There's a reason he won the Vezina. He's a 94 overall. Yeah, I think he has 5 years left. Does he want out of Philadelphia? Because I would love to get him, but the trade value for this guy, I don't want to even imagine where the trade value is. No playoff stats, because Philly just can't get into the playoffs. There he is, Louis LeBlanc. He did end up in Anaheim. I totally forgot about that. He is 35 years old. I moved on from him because the bidding war was like $7-something million, and Anaheim's paying him over $8 million. And I was like, there's just no way I'm paying this guy that much money. He's an 87 overall, so maybe some people see it worth it. to pay him that much money. I would have no cap space if I offered him that money, and he's starting to drop. His potential's already falling off. I wanted to see what he did. 18 goals, 56 points, but I mean 18 goals in 81 games. More games played, but not that many more points scored. He was a plus 16 for Anaheim. I don't even remember what Anaheim did, but there's a player that I moved on from. They made the playoffs. He played 10 games and contributed 8.3 goals in 10 games. So he did about as much as he did in 20 games in 10 games in this most recent playoffs. Is it worth it for Anaheim? It's hard for me to say. I'm glad I didn't pay him that money to get that kind of production. If I'm going to pay you that much money, you need to be a big-time producer. Dennis Kamayev leaves and goes to Columbus as well. He scores 49 points, 19 goals in 65 games played for the Columbus Blue Jackets. That is a respectable season. I don't know where he played in their lineup, but that's a pretty respectable season. I didn't mean to do that. That's a pretty respectable year. They did make the playoffs. He played in 3 games and scored 3 points. So he must have been injured to start the playoffs. He was my draft. I handpicked this guy. I drafted him in the 2nd round, and it was tough to part ways with Kamayev and LeBlanc, honestly. But it had to be done. What are they paying Kamayev, by the way? I didn't look at the contract. He is making 3.4 for 3 years, and he is now 32 years old, so the age isn't too bad for him right now. Brad Marchand is on the Devils now, by the way, so Brad Marchand, possibly the last season in the league. He could go out as a Stanley Cup champion. He wins another cup with the Devils. My God, Marchand just does nothing but win championships, and he's being paid $6. He's going to hit the market if he doesn't retire. So do we think that Brad Marchand retires? He's 38. His potential's dropping off a little bit. I mean, he's probably going to ride off into the sunset with yet another championship ring. And this is the roster, by the way, of this New Jersey Devils team. They did not have Lars Eller on this team. He's playing in Colorado. So Eller leaves in free agency to sign with Colorado in free agency, the team that just won the Stanley Cup, and leaves the Devils, who go on to win the next season's Stanley Cup championship. Eat it, Lars Eller. You can eat one. Anybody remember Henrik Tamernes? He had 2 goals, 27 points, age 35. His potential is gone. Like, his potential is down. We traded with Vancouver to get him. And, I mean, I don't know if he's going to contemplate retirement. He might retire at the season's end, and imagine playing out the last days of your career as a Philadelphia Flyer. There's no reason this team shouldn't be able to get it done, by the way. They should absolutely be able to get into the playoffs with the roster that they have and the goaltending that they have. I don't know what the issue in Philadelphia is. Maybe it's just the fact that they just have an old team. Voracek, Giroux, Wayne Simmons are still all here. Shen is here. They just need to move on from some of these players. Oh, Phoenix, Loic Arnaud. So what, did I check out Loic Arnaud and compare? I mean, this is the last year of his deal, of a $10.7 million contract in which he scored 40 goals again and 88 points. And in the playoffs, 4 games played, just 4 points in 4 games, just a 1 goal for Loic Arnaud and the Coyotes as they were swept again out of the playoffs. But they have won a Stanley Cup. They have won that championship. And Caleb Johnson, did we look at all of Caleb Johnson? So there's Caleb Johnson, just the stats on the screen. Signed to that new deal. And they also have Sean Monahan. I traded Sean Monahan to San Jose. Didn't work out for them 1 year. Could get Monahan in free agency if he makes it to free agency. 31 points, 9 goals. Do we want to? I mean, he would be nice depth if I can afford Sean Monahan. I wouldn't mind coming back to the table. Max Weiss as well was part of that trade. It was hard to part ways with Weiss, but he's also on a 1 year deal, perhaps destined to reach free agency, just the 9 points, and he's a penalty taking machine. That is the risk in adding Max Weiss to your team. But if you look, he does have some good categories, but he's just not very disciplined as a defenseman. Kolzak Nikitin, 50 games played, my created goaltender that Tampa Bay has. Last year on that deal, could he reach free agency? I think Tampa just brings back Kolzak Nikitin, 923. I mean, there's no way that this isn't your guy going forward. And there's the playoff stats for Nikitin. I'd really like to go up against one of these created goaltenders that I've made in a playoff series and see what it's like to play against them. And that's going to do it. I got to wrap up this video. I got to wrap up recording, and then we'll be back to do contracts all over again. Season 14 awaits, and hopefully a playoff appearance in that season 14.